Welcome to the first ever episode of Mind Your Business podcast. We are here, Bart, Keith. This has been what, 6 months in the making?
Yeah, at least 6 months.
About 6 months. And what better way to start our first ever podcast? Do you know who we got today?
No idea.
Coach Wilbanks from Shelby High School.
Are you serious?
Dead serious.
Wow.
He's here. He's here.
That's big. That's big. I'm here.
He's here. Just getting ready to go into the Shelby Crest game. In my opinion, one of the biggest rivalries in the state of North Carolina.
Absolutely.
Hands down. But talk about our podcast a little bit. What is our dream? What is our goal here?
Well, our goal is to reach out to community. We want to encourage small businesses, our local community, schools, churches. Basically, we believe in our community, and we want to support it every way we can. So we're hoping this will reach out and help local business, help our local community, schools, sports. We're just here for the community, do what we can for them.
Yeah, so this is a podcast that's sponsored by Nelon-Cole Moisture and Water, as well as Nelon-Cole Termite and Pest Control. So that's one of the businesses that's going to be highlighted throughout this podcast, as well as other local businesses. But that's the one thing that we want to emphasize is the community factor of Deer Park. The community factor of just what family is and what community can be. And this is actually a podcast that's done out in the Bowling Springs community. Just a small town, one stoplight, small town feel, family community, and that's what this podcast is being about. I pictured it, Bart, as just something that you can just think about sitting on the back porch on the summer evening and just having a conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody's just going to shoot the breeze. It's going to be loose. We're just going to talk about whatever we want to talk about.
Yeah.
And go from there.
I'm going to have a lot of fun doing it as well. So we'll be right back. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to have Coach Wilbanks join us. Talk about the Shelby Crest game, the biggest rivalry in the state of North Carolina, I believe. Absolutely. And just have a little fun with Coach Wilbanks.
Yep, sounds good.
Yeah, we'll be right back.
They're everywhere. Your yard, your kitchen, your bedroom. Invading your home and property, spreading disease, and destroying everything in their path. If you don't act, they'll multiply, crawling ever closer to you and your family. The only thing they fear is the web. Nelon-Cole Termite and Pest Control. Call today for their new service special and save $25. Bugs, beware of the web.
So we're back with Coach Wilbanks. First of all, thank you for joining us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Coach.
sure.
Yeah. It means a lot to us.
I appreciate y'all inviting me, and I'm just glad to be part of a game that warrants
so
a
much
podcast like this.
Yes, so much of this game is family, community. This is a game that you hear about and you know what's coming. Like this is one of those games that's marked on everybody's schedule, everybody's calendar, especially if you're in the Shelby or Bowling Springs area. Do you get that kind of feeling when it's starting to get close? Or when you're in the summer training sessions and you're getting closer and closer to the actual game itself?
Oh, yeah, definitely, especially with it being week 3. Years ago, it was the last game of the year when we were in the same conference.
Right.
And so that game was always looming on the end of the schedule. Well, now it's at the beginning of the year. So, yeah, during the summer, you're thinking about, especially for us, we start off with Kings Mountain, and then week 3 we got Crest. So we're hitting 2 of the 4 county schools right off the bat. So it's definitely in our minds going through the summer workouts, spring workouts, and with a great program like Crest and Shelby, you're always trying to one up each other. So
yeah,
it's just how good are they? Well, we got to get better. And then if we're getting better, then they're getting better. So it's just we kind of push each other indirectly, I guess you could say. We're just trying to compete with each other.
Yeah, one of the things that I love, Keith and Bart, about this rivalry is like how much family is actually involved.
Right.
Like you have family that a lot of times the house is divided, right? Like it's just divided. Like you have people who went to Crest, you have people who went to Shelby. You actually could have cousins playing against each other on the field.
Yes.
I mean, that's something that just brings another light to this rivalry that I think just makes it the greatest one in the state of North Carolina.
Well, and like Coach said, I think iron sharpens iron.
Oh, yeah.
Cleveland County is a very competitive county. And I think they just make each other better, like you said.
Oh, yeah.
You're thriving to beat each other and get one up on each other, and that's got to be tough year in and year out with the competition you're faced with in Cleveland County. In my opinion, I think Cleveland County is one of the toughest counties in sports to compete in.
I do too.
I really do.
And I agree with that. And I will say this: I think Shelby, pound for pound, is probably the toughest team in the state. Wouldn't you agree?
I'm biased, but yeah, I would agree with that statement. I think we pride ourselves on who we play. We 3A school, then AC Reynolds, they were 4A, but now they're 3A, then Crest 3A, then we got Olympic 4A next week. So, we're sitting there with 790 students. We're going to go out there and see what we got. We just line up and see.
Let me ask you this, Coach. Do you do anything special to prepare for a game like this, or is it just business as usual?
The cliche is it's another game, but I told our team, I said, guys, I'm not going to sit here and say it's another game because it's not. It's a Crest game. Mm-hmm. And so we don't prepare any differently. There's maybe a little more excitement in the air at practice. There's a little more pep in your step when you're going out on the practice field. But anything special, no, but we know it's the Crest game.
Right.
And they know it's the Shelby game for them, so I'm sure it's the same way on their practice field and in their field house. There's some excitement in the air. It's a fun week.
And I believe you can throw records out. No matter what
No
the
doubt.
record is, when
No
it comes
doubt.
to this, it's
Everybody's going to be excited.
Absolutely.
And you talk about the family stuff, and I'll point this out. A lot of times after the games with Crest and Shelby, people think rivalry or fighting or whatever, but it's never like that. It's so funny because after the game, the kids know each other so well. They stand on the field for 30 minutes or so, just standing around talking.
Right.
And if you're the visiting team, you're like, come on, guys, let's get on the bus. I'm ready to go home. But they got cousins. They got some of their best friends they played with in Little League ball, and they stand around and just shoot the breeze for a while.
I think that's great.
I do too. I think it's great.
That is awesome.
Well, you guys definitely had them on the ropes last year in the first half. What was the turning point in that game, in your opinion?
Oh, man, I don't know. It's nobody will remember this but me. And it's I think we're up 23-0 or something in the first half, and we've got the ball and we're moving the ball again, and we throw a little screen out to the receiver, and it's behind the line of scrimmage. But the referee called a lineman downfield, so it puts us back 5 yards. And people would think, well, that's not a big deal, but it kind of got us off rhythm right there. So we don't score on that drive. Crest does a good job. They go down and score. So then they start to get momentum. And when you're playing at Crest, and that momentum got to going, and we just never could, the second half, it got crazy in the second half. We never could. It was just, I kept waiting for that clock to run out. You're like, golly, man, it's just crazy.
I was keeping up with that game, and I actually tuned out. I thought, this is a blowout. This is over.
I know.
And then I saw the final score. I was like, what happened?
Yeah.
I mean, it was just crazy.
It was definitely a memorable game.
One of the plays that I remember from that game was a questionable call because I'm a Crest graduate, but I sat on the Shelby side that particular game, and there was a fumble.
Why?
Easy, Alan. there was other exterior opponents there that I had family duties. We'll just say that.
There you go.
Family duties. But there was a you guys had the ball. You were driving again, and there was a play from the running back. He goes right up the middle, and Derek from Crest, the linebacker, looks like he strips the ball.
Yeah.
Looks like the knee was down already. Referee calls a fumble. Crest recovers and is able to get more momentum going. And on that same drive, they drive down and score a touchdown, and that kind of put them up for, what happens in those moments? Like, how do you come back? One, as a coach, because I know that it's infuriating. Yeah. But two, how do you gather your players back up in those moments and say, guys, we gotta forget that. That's done. It's over.
Yeah, we talk a lot about it at practice and in meetings about sudden change, especially on defense. When you get sudden change, you don't have time to fuss or worry about what the last call was. And, we're always talking about next play, even during the summer when we're doing stuff, and even 7-on-7s if something's going wrong, like next play. Just play the next play. And so that's kind of the mentality we try to have. And we try to have it that night. And there were some great athletes on the field that night. And it was just I was told somebody it's like I was watching a car crash getting ready to happen. I couldn't stop it from happening. It was just unraveling in front of me. But it was, and credit to Crest, great team.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, do you feel the home field advantage? Does that help you any being at home?
Yeah, I think playing at home definitely helps. I think it helps for them. I think going over there to Crest it's a tough place to play, and I think playing at our place, I think we feel really comfortable at our place, and especially this year, we're getting ready to come first time playing out of that, coming out of that new facility. So the kids are excited about that, getting come onto the field, leaving out of that facility for the first time, which is going to be historic. I told them, I said, forever it's going to be the first time we played a home game from this new facility, so we'll always remember this game. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind as we're getting ready.
On top of the fact that it's Crest that you're playing.
Right, exactly.
Coming out of the new facility. Do you feel like it's more like not just the crowd and everything with the home field advantage? Do you think it's more just you're able to have more of a routine when it comes to the players?
Definitely. Yeah, you know where your stuff is. You know where the bathroom I'm going to use is. You know where the water fountain if I need something. You know where the training room is. Everything that people, the average fan probably didn't think about.
Exactly.
But when you're eating pregame meal and, you got to go to the bathroom or you want to take a shower or you want to, lay down and relax and plug your phone in or whatever. I mean, just all the comforts that you're used to from being at home.
No place like home, right?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Growing up, talking about a little bit about you. Growing up, who was one of your football idols? Like, what got you in love with the sport?
Oh man, let's see. I was born in a town called Rockford, Illinois, just outside of Chicago. So I only lived there till I was like 5 years old. But I became a Bears fan from an early age, and I loved Walter.
The Bears.
We're kind of at the Bears setting right here, but
Sweetness.
yeah, I love Walter Payton. Actually, I can remember in elementary school we had to write a letter to somebody. And I found a book in the library, had all these NFL teams' addresses. So I wrote the Chicago Bears, and he actually, I guess it was him. I'm going to say it was him, but I got a picture of him running the ball with the signature of Walter Payton. So he was one of my childhood guys I loved growing up to watch.
Did you frame that picture?
Oh, yeah, it's framed. I still have it, yeah.
Oh, that is awesome.
And then, growing up before the Panthers and growing up in Spartanburg, we watched either the Redskins or the Falcons. I loved watching the Hogs. I played offensive line, so I loved the Hogs with the Redskins. I loved like Steve Bartkowski and William Andrews with the Falcons. So those are kind of my guys I liked watching when I was a kid.
So Redskins fan, huh?
Not anymore.
Well, a Commanders fan now.
Yeah, they'll always be Redskins.
I agree 100%.
That's right.
100%.
Let me ask you this, Coach. Do you have a fantasy football team?
I do not.
Okay.
Both my boys play fantasy football, and I tried to play with them one year, but I got a real football team to worry about. I can't keep up with who to put in or who to bench. I got to where I didn't even keep up with it, so no, I don't even play fantasy football.
You guys have any key injuries coming into this game?
Nothing major. We got guys with, a strained shoulder or a rolled ankle and just the typical as you get into the grind of the season. Some guys have had limited practice, just trying to rest up, but nothing major right now, thankfully.
Who's going to be your team captains for this game?
Team captains, probably we haven't really officially decided yet, but I'm probably going to go with Drew Hollifield and Camden McGill and Isaiah Bridges and probably Jay McNeely.
Yeah. What do you look for in a player to make him a team captain? I mean, what makes a player a good team captain in your opinion?
Well, one is just we look at a lot of the intangibles. Some people look at the stat sheet, and we meet on it on Sundays, and we kind of kick around a few names. But we want to look at somebody who played hard, and then we're going to, as we get to Thursday tomorrow, we'll look at who had a good week of practice, who was there, who didn't get sent to the ALE or ISS room, who didn't get sent out. Little things like that. We want to look at a lot of the character stuff that goes on top of the kind of player they are.
Is your captains typically seniors?
Always.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's
yeah. Now a couple of years ago, I got away from it. I had a small senior class, and some of them were. So I had some good juniors.
Right.
Like when I had Santana, Hopper, and Malachi. So a couple of games, I let them be seniors just because they were leaders of our team. And so I let them be a captain a couple of games. COVID year, I think it was the COVID spring, maybe.
Yeah. So one of the things that fans, well, me personally, just fans in general, I think, just want to know what happens in the locker room, like during halftime. Like if you're down, if you're, you know, they
Let me
want
get my bleep ready here.
yeah, you better have it ready. But they, you know, that's something that everybody wants to see the inside. That's why you have shows like Hard Knocks and all of this stuff. They want the inside. So, for example, let's just go back to last year. All right, we go to halftime at the Crest Shelby game. What was your message to the team coming out of halftime and getting into that second half?
I told them, you know, I could feel it. I said, we got to finish. I said, we had a great first half. We kind of lost our edge in the second quarter a little bit, and we got to find that going back into the second half and try to regain some momentum. We got to make some plays early, and you know, cannot let them get it going at home. And we thought about that and try to make some adjustments. You know, halftime is like I try to tell my wife all the time, because I tell her, I said, if you were on the headset, if somebody could listen to our headsets, I mean, it's everybody's talking at the same time,
right?
But everybody knows what everybody's saying and who you're listening for, and it's kind of the same thing at halftime. You go in there, and I'm gonna say something for maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and then it's, all right, lineman over here, receivers over here, defense, you're in that room, and it's just, I mean, it's 1,000 miles an hour, and 15 minutes goes by,
and they're calling you back on the field.
Yeah, and you're like, man, I got to go over a couple more things, and
yeah.
But that's what makes coaching fun, man. It's just so go. Try to see how fast you can adjust and how well you can.
Yeah, so I love that you put that caveat there, because a lot of times people get this misconception of what halftime looks like or what before the game looks like.
Yeah.
With the speeches that Hollywood does, like Remember the Titans or Friday Night Lights, it's like, I'm giving this awesome, inspiring speech, and it's like, that is not what happens in that locker room at all. It's like, get your tail in order, you know, whatever the case may be. And so I appreciate that caveat.
It's my pregame speeches are pretty routine. I mean, that's nothing major. I'm not Newt Rockney or anything. We just talk about playing for each other, and we talk about loving one another. And they all, you know, early on they'd be like, I'm like, look, guys, I talk about biblical filial love, brotherly love. I'm like, you know, play for each other. You play to see. I want to see you succeed. I want to see you succeed. Try to play in a way that you're going to make your teammates. And we always talk about it. And we look at each other, and we try to look each other in the eye and talk about we're going to play for our brothers. And that's kind of the thing we do before the game.
That's awesome.
So I want to talk about the you running out. You know, obviously you talked about a little bit about the new facility coming out on the field, the dog pile.
That's a tradition.
The dog pile.
That is cool. I love that.
Yeah. Who decides to be the bottom man?
Oh, God.
Well, it has to be the lineman.
Right.
They know the lineman, and it's you know, my wife, she gets a kick out of, because she's been, you know, I've been at Shelby since '06, so she's watched a lot of piles. And some years are really good. Those guys, those skilled guys, because the linemen go out there first, and they're on the bottom, and they kind of take pride in it. Most of them do. Some of them will bellyache a little bit, but we're like, no, you got to be in the front. But you get to see those little guys, man. They can jump
they
up,
do some awesome,
cut a flip, or
yes,
you know, twist around, and
has anybody ever got hurt
That-
doing the
that-
dog pile?
well, not that I know of. If they did, they didn't tell me about it. But yeah, they get up like a bunch of old men. You know, they're getting up. Oh, man, get off my ankle, get off my shoulder. You know, but it's been a tradition that I cannot tell you when it first happened. I don't know that. You would think that the Shelby head coach should know that, but I don't know if anybody knows exactly when that started or why it started. But it's been around for
I think it's
a
one
long
of the coolest
time.
interests in
It
high
is.
school football.
Yeah,
I agree.
I love it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. We our JVs against Kings Mountain the other week, they just ran out and didn't do it, and everybody was like, "Have y'all not grown up in Shelby? Do you not know what you're doing? You make the pile.
Make the
And
pile.
So they ran out there and made the pile.
That's awesome.
So it's not just about obviously performance on the field. There's one question that we would like to ask as far as like you alluded to this about character, and what is a program or something that you guys do as a student athlete to make sure academics is still top priority, because without those nothing can happen on the field.
Right. Well, one thing that I do, I started when I became the head coach, is so I check their grades every week. Like every Sunday, it don't take long. It sounds like it takes a long time, but I can type in their name, and their grades will come up. And so if they got an F or a D, then there's so much circumstance on Monday, a consequence on Monday for an F, and there's a consequence for a D. And so it's just one way of trying. And on Thursdays, we don't start our walkthrough practice till 4 o'clock. So I try to give them, and I tell them some of them use that time, but a lot of them find something else to do. But
Time to get the homework done.
Look, you've got an hour. If you need to go by and see a teacher, go see a teacher. If you need to go make up a test or do test corrections, go do that. And so that's kind of the academic piece. And character-wise, I'm a believer in Jesus Christ. He's my Lord and Savior, and I try to let that shine through in what I do. So I'm all the time telling them Galatians 6:9. That's kind of our verse. Never get tired of doing what's right, what's honorable. In time, you'll reap a reward. I tell them, I said, the reward may not be a win, but if you do what's right, if you do what you're supposed to do, if you do what's honorable, you're going to be in a good position. So
That's right.
I even put that on our state championship ring. So
that's awesome.
it's on the inside of the ring. So
That's awesome.
they get tired of hearing that verse, but they've heard it over and over for the last, I don't know how many years I've been head coach,
I think
4 or
that's
5
great.
years. But just stuff like that. And I try to model. I got good coaches on my staff, good dads, good husbands, and we try to model the way a man should act. Not the macho man, but a man being a husband, being a dad. And so those are some of the things we do.
Yeah.
Academics are important, but I also want them to see what a dad and a husband looks like, because so many of them don't have
That's right.
a strong male figure at the house.
Yeah, it's a shame, but it is becoming more common in families
I think
now.
that's the number one problem in America, is the breakdown of the family.
Absolutely starts at the house.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with
Yeah.
you, and I'm very impressed and to see what you're doing as a coach and as a program, and what you just said doesn't impress me more than anything. Just to be honest with you, so
Like today we have Wednesdays is worship Wednesdays. I may get fired, but I don't care.
Yeah,
I'm
it's all
close
right.
enough to retirement.
It's
so
all,
we
believe in God.
Yeah,
too.
we-
Hey, we'll
so-
give you a job.
Hey, that's absolutely
so like
right.
on Wednesday our music, we play music at practice. So on Wednesday our music is all Christian music, and then I'll say a little something after practice. I may have a little verse I've been reading through or something, and then we'll have a prayer, or one of the kids will pray, one of the coaches will pray, and we just kind of have, they know it's worship Wednesday. If we don't pray at the end of that practice, or if we don't have Christian music, they call me out on it if we ever forget it. So
I'm telling you right now, Coach, I am green and gold through and through, but
yeah.
you're starting to win me over.
Well,
I mean, I might be pulling for the
Yeah,
Lions on
indeed.
Friday night.
No,
I'm just a servant, man. I'm just here.
you, sir, are a traitor.
No, it's just awesome to hear that. I mean, you talk about the locker room talk. You talk about just all the caveats that you're talking about, and the things that you do just to build young men. I mean, that is because there's life after football.
Yeah.
No matter if you go all the way to pros, there's always life after football. And what is that life going to be off the field?
Right.
So,
I think that's
I can talk about this stuff all day. I mean, I got it from Tommy Bowden. I heard him speak a long time ago at FCA clinic, and he said, when I get to heaven, God's not going to ask me how many games I won.
That's right.
He's going to say, look here, I gave you 85 young men every year, and what'd you do with them? And so, and I tell my students, we have a team meeting at the beginning of the year, and I tell them, I said, guys, number one, I'm a Christian. Number two, I'm a husband. Number three, I'm a dad. Number four, I'm a coach. I said, so you see how far football is on the list. I said, the same is going to be for you, and just what you just said. No matter how good you are, football is going to end at some point.
That's right.
So you got to be ready to cope with that. You're going to have to one day get a job. You're going to have to one day be a husband. You got one day be a dad. I said, if you'll come back to me in 10 years and you got a job and you're either married or, married, then have a kid. That's kind of the order. I prefer it. I know that's not the way it's always done.
Right.
But if you're a good man and taking care of your family and you contributing to society, I'm good. Even if you don't go to college, you go get a job, do whatever. Like Jaden Borders, I don't know if y'all remember Jaden Borders, great receiver for us.
yeah.
He came by a couple of days ago. Hadn't seen him in years. I said, Jaden, what are you doing, man? He said, man, I'm driving a truck. He just drove to Pennsylvania, drives an 18-wheeler.
Really?
And making good money. And I said, good for you, man. I said, he didn't get a college degree, but you can get a job. You can
Absolutely.
be successful
Absolutely.
financially without a college degree.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of Tommy Bowden, when he was during his tenure at Clemson, some seasons he'd go 7-5, some seasons 8-4, best season maybe 9-3.
Yeah.
But if he beat Florida State or South Carolina, he always kept his job. Do you feel that same kind of pressure on the high school level to beat your rival? And is there a hot seat like that on the high school level?
I guess there is. I don't know if I put it on myself, but if I feel like that is kind of the understanding. You can't go over against your rival year after year after year.
You said you went 0 for 10 against Crest. You don't think you'd be there?
No.
Well, I don't think that's going to happen, Coach.
I probably wouldn't get to 10 losses in a row because
that's probably facts.
I'd probably be going long before that.
So if you had the and I think I already know this answer to this question, but if it was to and we're kind of getting in some of the funner questions now, but if you had the choice,
oh boy,
to know I'm going to beat every Cleveland County team, but I'm not going to make the state playoffs, are you choosing that?
That's a tough one.
I don't know. I think I may have to take the state playoffs.
Yeah.
I believe I would.
That's a good answer.
There's been years, even when Lance was the head coach, I think there was one year we didn't win a county game. We were 7-4, I think, and ended up winning the state championship going into the playoffs.
Well, honestly, I think that's what prepares y'all for the state. You play in 3 and 4A teams, and so when you get into your own conference, and you're so much better because
Right.
you've played
Right.
tougher teams.
We've been tested.
That's right.
That's right.
And I think that's been one of the reasons for Shelby's success.
Right. When you play these teams in Cleveland County, they're going to expose your weaknesses.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you'll figure it out real quick. You may, you could be some other team around the state feeling good about yourself, but you haven't been exposed. These teams in Cleveland County will expose you.
I agree 100%. I think it's the toughest county in football in North Carolina myself. I personally do.
Absolutely, I agree with that 100%. Does that go into your mindset of scheduling? Like because these first 4 games for you are just
absolutely because one we got to front load the schedule. We got to get ourselves prepared early to show us what we need to work on, what we need to improve on, and to make that run in November.
Because it shows every year.
Yeah.
Like Shelby can, like you said a few years ago, 7-4 going into the playoffs and win a state championship.
Yeah, it was crazy. We didn't even win the conference, then ended up winning the state championship.
So that's awesome.
That is awesome.
Coach, some of our followers want to maybe get to know you a little better. I want to ask you a couple questions.
All right.
Which would you prefer, Mountain Dew or Mellow Yellow?
Can I not get a Diet Sun Drop in there?
Yeah.
Diet Sun Drop, that's fine.
I got to have a Diet. I'm a Diet Sun Drop guy.
I'm one. You have won me over. That's all I drink. That's my coffee in the mornings.
Yellow coffee.
Yes, that is it. I'm pulling for Shelby.
Just my golden line now.
I'm a golden line.
My wife's a Mountain Dew.
All right. Salt and pepper catfish or fried flounder?
Fried flounder. I think I take fried flounder.
Gatorade or Powerade?
We just did a deal with Coke. They put Powerades on the field.
So we had to go with Powerade.
I'm about to go with
Powerade on that one.
Austin Bridges barbecue or Red Bridges
Oh,
barbecue?
you better get this
Alston.
right.
I'm going to Alston.
Austin. On your days off, could we find you more likely to be fishing or golfing?
Oh, golfing. Yeah, I hadn't fished since I was a kid, probably. I would like to. The idea of sitting out on the lake and fishing, that sounds great, but I just never do get around to making that happen.
Probably don't have much time.
Second and goal from the 6-yard line. Run or pass?
Second and goal from the 6.
We're getting into the game notes now.
Second and goal from what's the score?
Ooh, turned it around.
Good question. Good question.
I mean, are we up? Are we down? Or
Let's say it's a no-score game.
no score game? Probably gonna run it.
Nice.
Better football movie, Remember the Titans or Rudy?
The Titans.
Absolutely.
The Titans.
The GOAT, Michael Jordan or LeBron
Oh, Michael
James?
Jordan all day. All day.
Absolutely. That's
No, Michael Jordan. That's easy.
No, that's it.
Dog or cat?
I'm a dog.
All
I'm a
day
dog.
long.
No
All
cat
day
for me.
long.
Thanks, Coach.
Coach Wilbanks, it's been a pleasure, man.
Yeah, man. Thank y'all for having me.
I got a note here for Bart that says Red Bridges just canceled their sponsorship.
Oh, gosh.
I'm
gosh.
sorry.
Well, we're going to have to cut the commercial, then we'll come back. We want you to do some college football picks with us.
All right. Sounds good.
Attention home buyers. Call Nelon-Cole Termite and Pest Control before purchasing your new home to avoid getting stuck with extensive damage, typically not covered by homeowners insurance. Nelon-Cole Termite and Pest Control will inspect your home for prior or present wood-destroying insects and moisture. Call Nelon-Cole Termite and Pest Control today to schedule your free estimate at 1-800-7-THE-WEB and receive $25 off any new service from Nelon-Cole Termite and Pest Control.
And we're back with Coach Wilbanks on Mind Your Business podcast, episode 1. It's been a great episode, I think. I appreciate you coming in, sharing your heart, sharing the just the pride in the Shelby High School football Golden Lions. I think you have won me over. We'll see, because we're about to do some picks.
There we go.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
We're going to do the top 25. College football season starts this week. It's Labor Day weekend. This is probably the...
I'm going to sit on my couch. I'll win or lose Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. I'm not moving.
What's
I
college
love
football?
If you're a football fan, this is Christmas right now.
Absolutely.
This is Christmas. So we're going to get right into it. Top 25. I'm just going to go down the list, and we will start with Keith, and we'll just come around.
All right.
And we'll pick some games.
Let's do it.
Pick some games. All right, first game starts actually Thursday of the Labor Day weekend. We got Florida. I think it's number 14, Utah. I'm going to give some stats here as far as lines go. The line is Utah minus 4.5. Who you got, Keith?
I'm going with Florida. I'm going with the SEC on that one.
Bart?
I got to agree, Florida. I don't see an upset there.
Now, they're playing at Utah, guys.
Utah's favored, but I'm still going with Florida.
They're playing at Utah. Utah beat them last year.
Yep.
I'm going to stay with Florida.
I think I'm going to go with Utah. The quarterback's back. He's a good one. I can't remember his name, but he's a gritty guy, man. He can play.
Showing out last year in the bowl game, got hurt with his knee.
Even though I watched the Swamp Kings, have y'all seen that? It's pretty good on Netflix.
Netflix, yeah. I haven't watched it yet. I heard they skimmed on a couple of stories there. I wonder why.
I think Urban Meyer may have been the producer or something.
Yeah, I think so.
Probably so.
I think so. I am going with you, Coach. Utah.
2-2 here.
All right, next game to start the Saturday off on Peacock. If you have Peacock, you can watch East Carolina against number 2, Michigan. Who we got?
I'm going to have to go with Michigan on that one.
Yeah, Michigan all the way.
Yeah.
My nephew goes to East Carolina, but I got to go with the Wolverines there.
That's right.
I'm going Michigan. Now the question is, if you're a betting man, do you expect Michigan to cover? That is a 38-point cover.
Yep, they cover.
And Harbaugh's sidelined, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Harbaugh's missing.
Yes, he is.
I believe they cover as well.
I think they cover.
still think they cover. I believe they got it.
I don't know. East Carolina's gritty, man. I don't know if they cover that.
Really? Gritty is what you're going with? East Carolina.
You never know.
Anything could happen.
The noon game on ABC, which I will be tuning into because I have a special interest.
What was your pick?
Oh, yeah, I didn't get my pick.
didn't
Sorry.
get your pick.
Michigan, obviously.
Michigan.
And they
Oh,
cover.
they cover.
Yeah, and they
Yeah,
cover.
and they cover.
They win by
Okay.
42 easy.
All right.
All right, Virginia, Tennessee.
I'm going to have to say Tennessee on that one.
Virginia, Tennessee. Who's quarterback for Tennessee this year?
It's
Cannon from last
The backup that was
Milton.
Milton.
Yeah, Joe Milton.
Tennessee big.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Rocky Top.
Rocky Top all the day, and they cover. That's a 28-point line. I think they cover easy.
Yeah, I do too.
All right, next game. Prime time. Gets it. Fox. First game of the season. He's playing on TV. Fox. Deion Sanders makes his coaching debut. Colorado against number 17 TCU.
I like Dion, but I'm going to go with TCU on this. I think TCU pulls it out. Probably 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I'm going with TCU as well. I just don't think Deion can put it together this early, this quick, this fast after losing everybody he's lost.
I think we'll go with the upset. I think TCU, a little sophomore, not sophomore slump. They had the big Cinderella year last year. I think Prime Time has a little swagger. He's going to bring something.
He
to the
definitely
party.
has some swagger. I like Prime Time.
Yeah.
I like the pick. I do like the pick, and he brought a lot of people. They have
did.
85 players on this roster. 85 players, and a lot of those came from where he was coaching at Jackson State.
Yeah.
So he's trying to bring what he had to Colorado. I don't think he gets the job done. I think he goes like 3-7 this first season. So he does not.
No confidence.
No, I have no confidence. He's got to get his his bearings with him. I think TCU wins and they cover. It's 20.5-point favorite.
Wow.
No cover. Even if they win, I don't think they cover.
No.
All right, next game. The noon game for ESPN to start the day is Arkansas State against number 20 Oklahoma. That line is 35.5.
Definitely Oklahoma State. I say they make it. I say they cover it.
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, that's right. Still Oklahoma. Oklahoma covers it.
Yeah, Oklahoma's going to be big. I don't know if Arkansas State will even score.
Oh, my God. Wow.
I mean, you got to think Venables. He's a defensive guy.
Yeah, definitely. I think Oklahoma covers.
Yeah, I think Oklahoma too. But that's a little homer there, Mr. Clemson fan.
Hey, me too, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah. A little homer there. All right, next game is FS1. If you want to watch this one, Utah State against number 25 Iowa. You know what's not going to be happening in that game? Touchdowns.
Or passing, probably.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That's so Utah State, Iowa. I'm going to have to say Iowa on this one.
Yeah, I think. Where's the game being played at?
Iowa.
Yeah, Iowa gets it done at home by a field goal, 17-13.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those 13-10 games or something.
So that's funny because I was going to ask instead of the line, I was going to ask if
What
y'all
the score
were
is.
what you would go over or under, and that over under is 43.
Under.
Easy.
Absolutely.
That's an easy one.
They probably put 43 points together.
That's an easy one.
Yeah.
All right, 2:00 window, ESPN plus SEC Network plus Mercer against Ole Miss.
What's the spread on that one?
It's so bad they didn't give me one.
Oh, that's, yeah.
Oh, bless her heart.
I hate you.
Blood game. That's the one of the blood games.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. I'm about to say Ole Miss.
You had to-
It's
you
over.
had to
It's
think
over by
about that
halftime.
one, huh?
It's over by halftime.
Yeah, Ole Miss.
Yeah, Mercer will get their check, come on back, and fund the rest of the athletic department.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah, Ole Miss for me as well. Another game that's just one like you referred to, a blood game. Portland State against number 15 Oregon.
Oh, God, definitely Oregon.
Portland State.
Yeah,
They have a football team.
they have a basketball team.
Second year.
Allen's like the bear.
He is the bear.
He is.
He is.
Portland State.
Yeah.
I'm Oregon all the way.
Yeah, Oregon.
Oregon, easy.
Oregon scored 70.
Oh, yeah.
So did y'all know that CBS now is covering Big Ten games as well as SEC games at the 3:00 window, 3:30 window, one of the primetime games on Saturday. And the first Big Ten game for CBS at 3:30 is Ohio State, number 3, against Indiana. And I think this is a little tricky one for Ohio State.
Indiana's played them tough before.
They have.
Where's that one at?
Indiana.
I think Indiana may cut. I don't know if they'll win, but I think they can cover.
Yeah.
The point spread is 30.
Wow.
I think they cover easy.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
easy
they
cover.
Everybody going to Ohio State, though?
Yeah.
As bad as I hate to, I have to go Ohio State.
Too many weapons.
This one
I'm
will be
not a
closer
Buckeye.
than you think, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one will be closer.
Yeah, closer than the experts say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of CBS getting Big Ten games, anybody know I got DirecTV. Is Fox back on DirecTV yet? Do anybody have DirecTV? Because it's been off of DirecTV.
It has
for a
been
while.
off. I tried to watch the Women's World Cup and couldn't.
Yeah, I couldn't watch. The Braves were on one time on primetime Fox. I couldn't get it. So
DirecTV, Fox, let's get that done.
I might
Let's get that
I
done.
gotta switch my provider by Saturday if they don't get it straightened up.
We can't miss the Braves. Can't be missing the Braves playing.
No.
Absolutely. All right, next 3:30 slot ABC after Tennessee beats Virginia. We got Boise State and number 10 Washington.
Boise State, where at?
It is at Washington.
That could be a tricky one too.
Exactly.
What's spread on this one?
The spread is Washington only 14.
Really?
Favored by 14.
I'm gonna go Boise State in the early upset.
You know, Coach, I think I'm going to agree with you. I'm
Yeah.
going to go Boise State. I'm
Yeah,
gonna go Boise
I
State.
think they may shake it up early.
I do too. All right.
Bart,
I'm going to take Washington at home. It's going to be a close game, but I think they pull it out.
I'm going Huskies as well. 3:30 on Fox. Hopefully we can watch this game, Coach.
Yeah.
Rice against Texas.
Is this what's my man's name?
At Texas?
Manning.
Manning,
Is this Manning's first start?
I don't even
No.
know if he's going to be a starter this year. Is he?
No, it's Sam Ellington.
Oh
still.
yeah, he's still there. But they say Art's got a pretty nice NIL deal out here.
He does. Hasn't
Yeah.
even thrown a football yet.
Yeah,
In college, at least.
Yeah, hasn't even thrown a pass and he's already a millionaire.
Yep.
Well, I'm going to say Texas on this one. I'm going to go with Texas.
Playing Rice.
Yeah, that's probably a good choice. This is one of those games that can give me a point spread. So
Yeah,
I'm going to go
Texas.
I think
big.
Texas is big, but I think Rice will, being in their backyard,
Yeah.
has a little bit
Plays
of
a little tougher.
little inferiority complex.
Yeah.
They're going to come in and play hard, I think.
exactly, I'm going Texas as well. 3:30 NBC. Now Notre Dame's already played one game over in Dublin, and one beat the breaks off of Navy 42 to
I didn't know that.
0.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was ugly. But Notre Dame gets another cupcake team, Tennessee State.
Tennessee State. I'm going to have to go Notre Dame on this one.
I'll tell you, Notre Dame, it was impressive to watch them run the football. I mean, it was just all those tight ends, that offensive line, that running back, they look good. As a Clemson fan,
Right.
that kind of makes me think that's going to be a pretty tough matchup.
They do look
down the
good,
road.
especially with the addition of Hartman from Wake Forest.
Yes, I think he has.
That is huge. So everybody going Notre Dame on that one?
Yeah,
Notre Dame.
Across
Notre
the board?
Dame.
Okay, easy. Wisconsin against Buffalo. Wisconsin's favored by 28, which is something that you won't hear the rest of the season.
I'm going to have to say the Badgers pull this out.
Badgers.
The Badgers.
We don't need no
they don't
stinking
need no
Badgers.
I think Wisconsin could be a sleeper playoff team.
Really?
Could be their year.
I think they could. I think they got a pretty good. I think they could be the TCU maybe of this year if the cards fall just right.
Yeah. Georgia starts their title run for a three-peat against UT Martin.
They've got the easiest schedule of anybody. to get to the,
Oh, Martin.
They do play a Martin, so it could be a little tougher.
That is true.
That's true.
The Martins are tough.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say no more than 50-some points, but I'd say Georgia.
yeah.
Yeah. Everybody on the Georgia roster will play in this game.
Even
So
the
what was the
even the
spread?
guys with no name on their jersey.
The water boy will be starting quarterback by the third quarter.
Yeah.
So we're all going Georgia.
Georgia, all the way.
Awesome. Next is Nevada against USC, who also has already played a game and 1-0 against San Jose State. They won. That game was actually closer than
I was not as impressed as I thought I was going to be.
Yeah, Caleb Williams kind of struggled, but he kind of pulled him out too. 56-28 was the final score in their first game. They're playing another team that they should handle in Nevada, but that spread is actually that spread's 38. So
I think Nevada covers. I think USC may be over.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be 30. I think within a couple touchdowns, but I think USC still pulls it out.
I agree with both of you guys on that.
yeah, I think USC pulls it out. I think they do. I don't think they cover either. Next game, Southeast Missouri State. Say that 3 times fast against Kansas State.
Had to go with the J. No, it's not Kansas.
Wildcats.
Wildcats.
yeah.
That's right. I'm going to go with Wildcats on this one.
Everybody.
Yep.
Wildcats, easy. Yeah. New Mexico and Jimbo Fisher and Texas A&M Aggies
Yeah.
going at it. 7 o'clock on ESPN if you want to watch that. We can watch that one for sure.
Yeah, we'll have that on DirecTV.
Does Jimbo turn it around this season?
I think so.
Yeah, I think he does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So starting out on a good
I'm
note,
going
I'm assuming.
to go Aggies on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Aggies.
Aggies.
The team that everybody talks about because it's just the team that everybody wants to be. Alabama starts there. Ranking them number 4, I question that a little bit. I think that's a little bit of a Nick Saban thing.
Yeah.
Because they still have no answer, or he hasn't even announced who the starting quarterback's going to be.
Right.
And he actually came out and said, I don't want anybody to think they're not a starter or can't play. Well, just a little side note, what do you feel about like that as a coach? Getting this close to the opening game.
I think somehow you got to give your team a little bit of. All right, we're gonna get behind this guy, and he's gonna be our guy, and let's go with it.
Yeah.
I think that kind of hurts the rest of the team. But heck, Nick Saban knows a whole lot more about football than I do. But I just think you got to name a guy to be your leader.
Yeah, I agree with that. So
What's the spread on this game?
the spread is 39.
Oh, yeah. Alabama makes the spread.
Yeah.
Middle Tennessee's a tough G5 school, though. That's
They are.
is that
Yeah.
my man used to be at Clemson. He used to be the defense coordinator.
Charlie Arbison.
No, Rick Stockstill, I think.
Oh,
is his
yeah,
name.
yeah.
He's the head coach there, and I think they'll play tough. I don't know if they'll cover or not, but it'll be interesting for a little while.
So it is the point spread's 39. The over under is 51.5.
Oh.
I think Alabama does that by themselves.
do too.
Yeah.
I think Middle Tennessee scores. I think because Alabama's going to they're going to allow Middle Tennessee score, and they're a tough program.
So if it's 42-10, you still get the over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, all right, moving on. NBC 7:30 game, West Virginia against number 7 Penn State.
Ooh, that's
20.5 point spread in favor of Penn State. The Nittany Lions.
That could be a potential upset.
That's interesting. I tell you, that's
You like that as an upset?
I think it's a potential.
Really?
I know I don't have a lot of faith in West Virginia, but still, that could be. I'm gonna have to go West Virginia on this. I'm gonna go with the upset on this.
Mountaineers, you're
I'm
going
gonna
for
pull
it.
with the upset. on
You're
this.
going for it.
I'm
I
gonna-
like it. I
Yes,
like
sir.
it.
I'm going with the upset on this one.
I just think Happy Valley's too hard of a place to play to pull an upset, especially for a team like West Virginia. Nothing, no knock on them, but I think Penn State handles them.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, West Virginia's got the linebacker from East Lincoln. He's a freshman. I don't know how much playing time he'll get. Ben Cutter kid.
Yeah. Bart, are you going upset too?
I'm going Penn State 28-27.
Oh,
That's that close.
Wow, you giving us a score now?
What time's that game start?
That is a 7:30 game.
Oh man, I hope I can be awake for the end of that one. Those games,
That's tough.
I'm a early to bed guy.
Night game in Happy Valley, and you're thinking it's going to be
It'll be a whiteout.
I don't know if it's going to be white out or not, but still night game in Happy Valley, and you're saying 28-27.
It's gonna be close.
And
I picked the- I
you
picked- I
did.
picked the
You-
upset.
yes, you did. You did.
This is almost the backyard brawl now.
this is
Yes,
That
it's
is
getting
true.
close.
That's a recruiting battleground
Yeah.
between those two.
It really is. It really is. Probably the most intriguing game for us, just because of where we live at, and it's the battle of the North Carolinas, obviously, in Charlotte. And as a matter of fact, that's where game day is going to be. They're going to be there to kick off the season for College Game Day. But number 21, North Carolina against South Carolina. The spread is North Carolina 2.5.
it's definitely gonna be a close game.
Toss up.
I think it comes down to turnovers. Who gets the breaks? I mean, I'm going to go with North Carolina, but I think it's going to be really tough. I think it's going to be close. I'm going to go with North Carolina.
Frank Beamer was saying that if they couldn't stop the run game, it was going to be a long game for South Carolina. And May can do both run and pass. I'm going with the Heels.
Yeah. Coach?
My wife went to North Carolina. We're in North Carolina. So my wife went to Carolina. My son is currently at Carolina,
That's
and
tough.
I do think Carolina will win this game.
That's tough.
Now my son swore we went to the ACC championship. I have one son at Carolina and one son at Clemson, and so we went to the ACC championship, Carolina Clemson, and that was a lot of fun to watch those two just go at each other. But after that, my Carolina son said, "I'm never coming back to the Bank of America to watch the Tar Heels." He's going.
Yeah, he'll be there Saturday.
Yeah,
right?
he was just mad that night, but he's going. So
Yeah.
I think the Tar Heels can do it.
I do too.
So I think because of May,
I think that. Yep.
that's the difference maker, and that is somebody that I really could see winning Heisman this year.
Wow.
Could really see it.
Well, there's not going to be a whole lot of defense played in this game. This could be a shootout. I mean,
You got Rattler on the other side, who
Yeah.
looked like a Heisman
Yeah.
candidate only one time last season. That was against Tennessee.
That's well,
Yeah.
Clemson.
And Clemson, too.
Yeah,
And Clemson,
yeah.
too.
He looked good
Yeah.
at Clemson.
Like 2 games back to back looks like a.
This could be his game.
Yeah.
You never know.
yep.
But I'm going the Heels as well, and I think they cover easy. The over under on that is 64.5. I don't think that's gonna. You said a shootout. I don't think it gets that high.
It just depends.
I think it can.
Carolina's notorious for not playing defense.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, you think it'd be a 38-28 or something? That could be an over.
I always like the title of that game that they play in the opening round or opening season right there in Charlotte. It's the Duke Mayo Bowl. Like somebody's getting mayonnaise dumped on their head.
Yeah, it's actually a rematch of the Duke's Mayo Bowl from.
Yeah, you're right.
It
It
really
is. Yeah.
Because here again, we went to that game and Bank of America. So my son, he's like, I'm never going because he watched them lose there. He watched them lose in the ACC championship, but he's going.
Oh yeah.
That's off. So you talked about Wisconsin being one of your sleeper teams for the playoffs. This next game is got one of my sleeper teams as far as the playoffs because they look good at the end of the season. They beat USC in the bowl game, and that's Tulane. And they start the season on ESPNU at 8:00 playing South Alabama. They're ranked 24. Tulane is favored by 6.5.
I think Tulane covers the spread and wins the game.
Yeah, I'm surprised they're only favored by 6.5. I would think
I was a little shocked by that too.
Yeah.
I think
Yep.
Tulane got that.
Tulane,
the Green
The
Wave.
Green Wave.
the Green Wave. Sunday, you get a Sunday game. Sunday game on CBS. You got Oregon State against San Jose State, who is 0-1 because they lost to USC last week pretty handily, but stayed in the game. And I think if they can stay in the game with USC with all that talent,
Right.
they should be able to stay in the game with Oregon State.
The Beavers.
The Beavers.
The Beavers pull it out.
Is DJ starting quarterback for Oregon State?
DJ is starting.
Oh yeah, I forgot he was
going-
there.
Well, then I'm going.
Are you doing a team?
Don't bash DJ.
I'm just kidding.
That's
Who you going with, Bart?
I don't know if I can pick Oregon State with him being the quarterback, truthfully, unless they got a heck of a running game.
16.5-point favorite Oregon State is with DJ.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't see it unless he. I don't see that.
I think San Jose State being their second game. I don't think that means they'll win, but I think you see a lot of improvement, a lot of growth from week 1 to week 2. So
Absolutely.
Oregon State's in week 1, so San Jose State I think is going to be more seasoned. They'll make it a good game. But I think Oregon State wins.
I'm going to Oregon State too. I don't think they cover though. All three of you guys are Clemson fans, right? All three of you. You can't trust DJ right now. I mean, you just said.
I think DJ is going to shock some people. He just
I
needed.
do
I think
too.
he just
You
needed
think
to
so?
change.
I
He
think
just
he's
needed to change the scenery,
Right.
man. He got into a rut, and I think getting out back on the West Coast, closer to where he's from, I think he's going to be.
I do too.
I hope so.
I think they cover the
hope
spread
so.
easily.
I hope so
Really?
too.
I do.
I think he's a good guy.
He is a good guy.
He's a good guy.
I'm not taking anything away from him as a character. But, yeah.
He had
Right.
one good game last year, and that was against Wake Forest.
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen flashes. Like
Yeah.
you've seen flashes, and that kind of like as a Clemson fan, that had to kill your hope a little bit because you know what he was capable of doing,
Right.
and then you saw the games that. But again, like Clemson was right there on the verge of playoffs anyway. So
I just felt like they never let him really. I guess it's the chicken or the egg, but they never let him really throw the ball downfield. They didn't let it rip a whole lot. They tried to handcuff him some with all the short stuff, and but hopefully he can find his way out there. And
being a Beaver now,
Yeah.
he went from a Tiger to a Beaver.
I think he,
That's what he needed.
I think
That's
I
what he
think
needed.
I think he'll do good. I think he'll do well this year.
Yeah.
I do. I really do.
Probably the most talked about game, the highlight, where Chris and Kirk's going to be calling the game on ESPN, or it's actually on ABC. On Sunday night, you got the number 5 LSU Tigers against number 8 Florida State Seminoles. Probably at the last year, one of the best games
yeah,
to all season, honestly, and that was one of the opening weekend games. So, do we see the same kind of matchup?
LSU at Florida State this year?
Yes, at Florida State, night game,
That's
7:30.
going to be a tight game. That's going to be a tight game.
oh, was that Florida State?
Yes.
I thought they played Florida State last year.
I would have to go with Florida State on this one. I had to go with the underdogs.
I've been to a Florida State game. They beat Clemson 57-0 that game. Doak Campbell Stadium. It's been a long time ago. I'm going Knowles at home.
Knows at home.
When was that? They beat Clemson 57-0. How long?
It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's like
30
93,
that was
92,
30.
93.
Wow. I think we'll go with Florida State. I think Florida State's going to get back on the map as a national power.
I do too.
That
I think it's
is,
coming.
yeah. If that happens, then that's just nothing but good news for the ACC.
Yes.
Right.
If they're able to keep them actually in the conference.
Yep.
So I'm going LSU. Yeah, I'm going LSU. LSU is favored by 2.5. I think they win by 10 at least. I do. Now we get to your guys' favorite game. Finally, the Labor Day weekend cap. Duke and Clemson. Number 9 Clemson. Are you mad about that ranking?
Nah.
Number 9?
Yeah.
No.
I'd rather them be lower.
I think it's too high.
Yeah, I do too. I put them down. I think they play better. I don't know.
I got to see Cade do.
Yeah.
I got to see a little bit more body of work before I'm
Yeah.
sold on Cade right now.
I believe. I definitely believe Clemson wins this game. But
I do too.
I don't know if it's a blowout. I think it's going to be a closer game.
I think Duke's better than people think
Absolutely.
right now.
They were last year.
Yeah,
They were.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, did you ever think there would be a starting quarterback in the NFL that played for Duke? I mean, look at Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
So Duke's program has gotten better. Their fans tend to not come out in the first half until the team starts playing well or starts scoring some points. There won't be a fan in the stadium besides Clemson fans all game. This game's going to be
What a homer.
a blowout.
Alan, what a homer.
I got nothing to add to that. I do agree with it.
Coach?
I think Clemson wins, but I do think it's going to be a tighter game than the traditional Clemson Duke games of years ago.
I do too.
I just think that head coach, and his name escapes me, the one that came from Texas A&M, he brings a certain degree of grit because he's a defensive guy. He brings a toughness to Duke. I think they're going to play hard, play tough.
Do you think the offense is going to look a lot different with? I mean, it should, obviously, without DJ there and K taking over. Do you think Dabo and the coaching staff kind of learned from last year? Like, let's let them play a little bit more into who they are as an offensive player, because I think a lot of times coaches try to do, maybe not try to do too much when it comes to play calling, but it's like allow the player to play in their scope. You know, I think you alluded to that with DJ. They kind of just didn't almost kept it in a box a little bit.
Well, I think it'd be exciting to see what Garrett Riley does.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
plus they
Coordinator
brought
there.
Chad Morris back. He's a part of the offensive.
I think they opened it up. I think they're going to win
Yeah.
this year.
Yeah, I'm going to go Clemson wins. The spread is 13. Did they cover that?
I think they covered.
Yeah, I think they cover.
Yeah.
I think it's probably 17, 20
20,
points.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is it. That's the top 25 of the college football to start the season off. Labor Day. I mean, literally the greatest weekend.
Now we forgot one local team.
we got one more
Oh
pick.
yeah,
You gotta get to our-
we're getting there.
home
We're
town.
getting there. We're getting there.
Okay.
But the greatest weekend, if you're a football fan, because it leads into the start of fall. I mean, I know it's still hot, but we're starting to get into fall.
I'm ready for some cooler weather.
Yes, absolutely. And then NFL season starts off the following Thursday. I mean, it's just a great time if you're a sports fan. Like, and this is it.
Yep.
This is it. You can watch something other than the Braves, because I'm a Yankee fan. So
The Braves are fun to watch right now.
they are.
Yeah,
You're
I'm
having
a
a hard
big
time,
Braves.
Me too.
Yeah.
You're having a rough year.
I'm having a real rough year. A real rough year. But before we get out of here, Coach, we're going to pick the game that we talked about so much. The greatest, I think, again, you talk about one of the greatest rivalries, right? You can throw in Duke, Carolina. You can throw in Ohio State, Michigan. Yanks, Red Sox.
Clemson, South Carolina.
Yeah. Shelby Crest is, again, in-state county rivalry. I think one of the best there is. Just
So
because.
we're really going to make the coach pick this game.
Oh, no, I'm just going to sit. I'm sitting here and listen.
Yeah. No,
But you know who I pick. I mean,
obviously, Crest.
What? Whoa! Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
I'm just kidding. But one of the greatest rivalries, just because of everything we talked about, the family dynamic, just how close the two schools are, the rich tradition that both schools have. 18 state championships for Shelby.
18.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
Yep.
That's a little more than Crest.
Are
So
we
we
not?
won't talk about it.
Yeah.
Are we tied with the most state titles in North Carolina at 18?
Well, you go when you talk to Reedsville people.
That's what
it comes.
Yeah.
Back in the '60s and '70s when it was the Western North Carolina Association and you had the North Carolina Association. There was two separate state championships back then. So it's just if you talk to Shelby, we've got more. If you talk to Reedsville, they got more.
So one thing I saw on Reedsville too that they're claiming as a state championship, and I don't know how you can do this. They finished a football game back in the early days as a 6-6 tie, and they're claiming that as a state championship. Shelby has the most.
Okay,
Right,
we're going to go
I
with
got
Shelby. I agree with that.
Yeah,
Definitely
absolutely.
Shelby.
Get out of here with that.
That's
6-6,
right.
like
Yeah.
get out of
That's
here.
right.
That's right.
Get out of here.
We're gonna go-
All right, so we're gonna pick the game. We're gonna start with you, Keith. Who you got? Crest, Shelby.
Now, where we playing that again? We're at Shelby this
We're
year,
at
right?
Shelby. Dog pile coming out of the new facility.
I think it's a dogfight to the end. And personally, I think it's going to come down to turnovers, who don't make the mistakes. I'm going to give a slight edge, as hard as I hate to do this with Coach here, as much as he earned my respect. I'm going to have to say it's Crest by 3.
Bart.
I tell you, Crest is riding huge win over Gaffney. They're riding all the momentum right now. Shelby hasn't won a game yet, but you know what? Like we talked about, you can throw these records out the window.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Shelby's hungry. Shelby gets it done at home today, baby.
Oh, my
To Friday night.
They get it done. They get it done. They get it done. You wanna say a score? Keith said they win by Crest wins by 3.
24-13.
Oh my
Wow.
goodness.
11.
Wow.
11.
11?
Wow.
Hold.
11?
Hope you're a prophet. I'm a prophet Bart.
11?
We want you to come back.
11 points against the Chargers.
Chargers come out uninspired.
The home field spirit.
They get punched in the mouth right away. And they
Well, that did happen last year.
This year, they finished the job.
Yeah.
They finished.
They finished the job.
So I'm going to go. I talked a lot of like how he won me over.
I know now.
I mean, he won me
He
over.
won me over too.
He won me over, but
Remember your alma mater.
Regardless of the score,
I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
I am.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But I am going to stick with my alma mater. I bleed green and gold.
Right.
Chargers win. Chargers win. But I think it's a close game. I mean, it always is. It always is.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things where you hear it when they talk about Duke Carolina, it never disappoints. This is another game that never disappoints. Never.
Well,
As far as a fan.
Fans always get their money's worth in this game.
Absolutely.
And tell me in high school football where you going to have 10,000 fans at on Friday night.
Yeah.
In the state of North Carolina, how many high schools are going to have 10,000 fans at it? Not many.
Not many.
Not many.
Nope.
But when Crest and Shelby play, you can count on it.
It's going to be fun. Friday night, 7:30. Shelby High School, be there.
I think it's going to be nice weather. I mean,
Yeah,
It is gonna be-
the high's going to be in the 70s Friday.
Yeah,
So
perfect
great
football
atmosphere.
weather.
No rain.
Yep.
I mean, you get when you have the weather like it's going to be, you get to see the full scope of all the athletes on the field.
Yeah.
And that's what's awesome
Yep.
because you get to see all of that just straight raw talent on the field, and it's going to be awesome. So be there. Coach Wilbanks, thank you again so much for joining us.
A lot of fun. Glad y'all invited me. And
Absolutely, Coach. Thanks so much.
Yep.
It's been
Remember
a
the
pleasure.
ones who picked against you.
It's been a pleasure,
I'm
Coach.
still inspired, though. I'm still inspired.
Yeah, he's still got a fan in me.
Absolutely.
Like,
Picked against him.
I know I did. After everything I said too.
He had me when he said his faith was in God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, that had me. That won me over.
I don't. You from Crest, you got to pick your boys.
And Justin
I
still
ain't mad
picked
at you
against
for
them.
that.
I did, and I still went. What are you saying, Alan? I went against God right now. Is that what you're saying? My gosh!
Where did that come from?
Coach, again, thank you so much. This has been the first episode of Mind Your Business podcast. We hope you enjoy it. We're going to be doing more of these. We'll get that out on YouTube, on Nelon-Cole, our sponsor, their website, on Facebook. We'll get this all out. Be in tune about what's coming next, because this is something that we're going to continue to roll on. I had a blast. Did you have a blast?
I had a blast, man. It was great.
Bart,
I thought it was great.
Awesome.
Keith.
Great time. Great time.
awesome. We'll see you guys next time. Be safe. Have a great night.